Hey everybody, this is Afefe with Touch by Tarot. So glad to see you. I am going to do a pick a card for us, doing this on the holiday weekend. Today is Friday, November 25th. And so for those of you who are enjoying or who celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday, I hope it's going very well for you. Hope you're enjoying your families, your loved ones, yourself, right? And for those of you who don't necessarily celebrate the holiday, I hope you're celebrating life. All right. So, gonna do a pick a card for you all today. And what Spirit gave me, the question or the energy, what we're gonna go look at is the impact that you have had this year and how that is setting you up to go into 2023. All right, so that's it. The impact, spirit guides are going to come through and give you some clarity around. Sometimes we can't see exactly the impact that we're having. We know we do our best, we show up, our work, our families, for ourselves, taking care of ourselves, all those areas of life, but we don't necessarily give ourselves the credit, or we're not able to see, especially if we're encountering blocks or things are not, flowing the way we want them to, or even if things are going really, really well and we don't understand the extent to which the work we put in and the effort and the energy and the commitment that we've made is what's resulting, right? So that's what I want to look at and give you guys from a past perspective, what you've already done, what you're doing now, the impact that you're having now, and advice towards, the impact that you can have toward the future, setting you up specifically for the year ahead for 2023. All right. I did spread the cards ahead of time just to save time. You're not sitting there just watching me shuffle, but I give you my word. I do not play with spirit at all. I do not see these cards until I reveal them to you and interpret them with you on the recording. All right. You got my word on that. All right. Because I know some people, I know on YouTube with readers in particular, there are people who feel like, well, how do I know you didn't, do this ahead of time, choose the cards. And so there's a pressure sometimes, I think, for readers to do it online. And sometimes I do that. But again, especially when I'm doing picker cards and it's going to be a longer read, I do it ahead of time. So please take my word for it. Read my heart. All right. I've got three. I chose bracelets again. That went over well the last time. So I've got three stacks in front of me. Pile number one is going to choose. This is a purple stone, and I had to write it down, you guys. It's not easy. It's phosphosiderite. I will spell that and put it down in the comments. Phosphosiderite, and its properties are: it gives inspiration from the higher realms, and it brings that inspiration. It helps you manifest it in the physical body. It is a masculine energy. It is bold and direct. It's a confidence booster, and it helps with courage and to boost your skills and carry out tasks. Okay, so if you're drawn to that, number one, all right, that phosphosiderite, all right, that's number one, the purple stone. We'll call it the purple stone. Pile number two is going to be selenite. It's gorgeous, all right? And selenite's properties, some of their properties, you can always look it up, is it helps you connect to your angels, your guides. The moon goddess, it is definitely a divine feminine energy. It's calming, it's purifying, and it helps to remove stagnant energy. It's a wonderful cleanser, and it raises vibrations. For those, many people will use it, especially for people who read tarot or oracle cards. It's a wonderful stone to clean both other crystals and to clean decks. You can, put a deck, lay a stone on top of a deck, and it helps cleanse energy from a deck. So it removes stagnant energy. All right. Wonderful, wonderful purifying stone. And our third pile, for those who choose pile number three, I got some turquoise howlite. Turquoise howlite. And some of the qualities of this, it is calming and centering. It centers your energy. It motivates you for what you truly desire, to connect, and helps you connect with your inner strength so that you can manifest your heart's desires. It is a wonderful stabilizing stone. It stabilizes the emotions, and it helps improve the quality of patience. All right. So one more time, we got the purple, called the purple stone, pile number 1. Pile number 2 will be the selenite. If you're drawn to that, you may be drawn to more than one or even all 3. And pile number 3, that turquoise howlite. All right, so we're going to go in, you all. Let's take a look at the impact that you're having, what your guides want you to know about the impact that you're having and have had, so that it sets you up to have better perspective as you go into, get your goals together and just be prepared for 2023. All right, so let's go in and see what we have here. Pile number 1, purple, phosphosiderite. I got it. All right. Combination of oracles. All right, so that's your future. Here's your present. And here's your past. So looking at the impact that you've had leading up to this point, to you seeing this video, the impact that your guides want you to know that you have already had, and how you've, what you've already managed to accomplish. Beautiful. Your leader card is confidence, pile number 1. So you definitely understand who you are in the various aspects of your life, how you're showing up in your work, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're retired even, but work meaning what you give your energy to, what it is that you set out to do, whether, you could be volunteering someplace, or if you are still in the workforce, or if you are an entrepreneur, but it's the confidence that you've developed and the impact that you're having is recognizing that you showing up that way is impacting others. They see the confidence in you, and that helps inspire them. You are a wonderful, the impact that you're having is, you got the Queen of Swords here. So you are communicators, pile number 1. Part of your confidence is in your ability to express your ideas, express and communicate ideas to people. You could be in a profession that requires you to, if you're in a management position, or if you are in business for yourself, you've got to be able to talk to people and help them understand what your concepts are, what your ideas are, and that boosts, that you can do this, and this is the impact that you're seeing, that you're having on others. So the ability to do that. Strong, some of the keywords on here. I love this deck because it gives you little keywords, strong, truthful. I'm reading this backwards. Protective, independent, right? So that comes through. That goes very well with the idea of confidence, pile number 1. Now, you also have here, connected to this confidence, the Two of Wands. So pile number 1, you all have been really busy setting yourselves up, applying yourselves. You've got a plan. You're thinkers, definitely. If you chose this pile, you are thinkers. You're able to consider different sides of something, and so that by the time you move forward with it, the impact you have is you come across as someone who knows what they're talking about. You're not kind of figuring it out as you go along. It's something, it's more methodical. It's clear. It's concise. It's powerful. So that's the impact that you have had up until now. At the present time, the impact that you're having. Hold on 1 second for me. I just realized I pulled, because again, I don't look at these cards before I pull it. So one of your cards is actually like an introduction to the deck, because I don't look at the cards. So there you have it. There's the proof. So let me pull your second actual card for that. Okay, got it. All right, so now the impact, file number 1, that you are currently having, whether you are aware of this or this is something, your guides want to make you aware of, says, take responsibility for your life as a creative adventure. How can you live with more meaning, integrity, and truth? You know what? All right, so pile number 1, at the present time, the impact, Spirit wants you to know that it's okay to not press so hard to give yourself more credit for the impact that you are having, because this take responsibility for your life as a creative adventure could be indicates to me that you have spent a lot of energy with that confidence and expressing to others that perhaps you've been so busy, excuse me, fix my top there, you've been so busy doing that and so dedicated in that, and maybe even pushing yourself really hard. Some of you may be a little bit, lean on the perfectionist side of things, okay? And Spirit is reminding you to treat your life as an adventure. Step back and give yourselves more credit for what you've done, and take the time and the space, some of this energy that you are using and utilizing to help others to show up in the world, and in that confident way that you can, is to spend some of that on you. Shine some of that light, more of that light on yourself at the current time. We're looking at the impact that you're having at the current time, because here comes temperance, confirming that. Temperance is a card very much that indicates balance is needed. That something you may be pushing so much in one direction, helping others, doing more, being more exacting, holding yourself to a schedule, being very strict with yourself in certain ways, so that there's that balance. Spirit wants you to have more fun, moderation, contentment, calm, peace, a balance, right? So definitely when it's coming with this card that we just saw about, creating that more adventure in your life, there's the idea here. Page of Cups comes here. That's your other card. Dreamer, admirer, daydreamer, and have your head in the clouds. You know what? So for you all, for pile number one, that may not come very easily for you, because you're more get it done people. We got that Queen of Swords, that confidence. You're more have a plan, show up, take action, get it done. You're a doer, right? And that's a beautiful thing. That is how you have an impact. But at the present time, Spirit is saying, we want you to make sure that you're also having an impact on yourself, on your growth, on being gentle with yourself, on having fun, on showing up creatively. All right? So pile number one, that's in the present. So there's this, what you've done in terms of impacting others, and now in the present time, Spirit is saying yes, but remember that what you do needs to also impact yourself. Be deliberate about the ways that you impact yourself. All right? And now looking into the future, and advice for how you can impact, have an impact in both ways. We've seen you doing it on the outside world and who's around you, and now that call to have more. Remember, be more mindful about how you do it with yourself, and now going into being mindful about going into, the impact that you're having going into 2023. Your leader card is be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. There is an emphasis, I think, going into 2023 for those of you who chose this pile number one, this phosphorite, is going to have a lot to do with taking back a little bit of what you've poured into your career, your family, how you've helped others, how the ideas that you've put forth, how much you've accomplished. And pile number one, I think you've accomplished a lot. You've had quite an impact. And now it's saying be true to yourself as you get ready to go into 2023. Your two tarot cards are so in alignment with this be true to yourself, looking forward to the future. Check this out, you all. Get ready. You got the Magician, which is all about creating, utilizing the tools that you have. So here you are, a quick thinker, and you have this ability to express logic, right? That Queen of Swords energy, this ability to be decisive, to communicate your ideas, to get things done, to tackle things. You're not afraid of what has to be done. That's not your ticket at all. You're gonna get it done, and you have gotten it done. And now the Magician says, we want you to come up with some more ideas going into 2023. The best impact that you can have is to come up with ideas that allow you to be not just what you think others need, not just serving the greater whole, the greater good, the greater purpose of your career, your family, what you really are focused on and showing up for it, so you can have that impact, but to do it in a way that creates opportunities that show who you really are, that you put your personal stamp on everything that you do. And that's going to be a journey for you all going into 2023, the discovery of that. The Magician in tarot is very much about discovering the power of magic, the power of manifestation, the power and the ability to use what you have, to sort of take around a look, take a look around and use what you have, whether that's the resources that you have, books, workshops, creative things that you do. If you have hobbies, you put together oils, or you create jewelry, you're into beading, crafting, but whatever it is that you do, the Magician says take those things and use it to create, have an impact, right? Very much the Magician. Talk about having an impact. The Magician is all about manifestation and having that impact. So here it is. This Six of Swords is saying, but you do that by taking a moment to assess what your next steps are going to be. I love that you're getting this in Swords energy, because we saw that Queen of Swords energy with you earlier. So pile number one, you are definitely thinkers. You know how to use your noggin in order to put things into motion and to express what that is. Overcoming obstacles, stability, and some travel. Moving to calmer waters. Be true to yourself. And the Magician, going into 2023, it's definitely pile number one time for you to give yourself that pat on the back. Give spirit, give your guides that recognition that, thank you, because I have done all of this. I am confident. I've done enough. I have a track record to have built this confidence, right? That's your ticket. That's really going into it. They want you to utilize, not to stop what you're doing on behalf of others, not to stop any projects, not by no means, because it's working for you, but to also utilize a little more of that and give yourself credit for being the Magician. That person who really does get it going, and understanding that because you are that way, you are having a tremendous impact on others. And finally, I did one more advice, overall advice specifically for 2023. And we have innovation. Look at that. Innovation, you all. This is coming again in air, Aquarius. Jupiter in Aquarius. Jupiter in Aquarius. Oh, I did. Yeah. Making sure I'm holding that up right for you. All right. So 2023, Aquarius, an air sign. Thinks about things on behalf of the greater good, operates, on behalf of humanity, a little rebellious, innovation, ruled by Uranus, but Jupiter having to do with growing yourself. That Six of Swords, that be true to yourself, and that Magician. Pile number one, 2023 is going to be a year for you all. Your guides are saying, you've already done so much. Give yourself credit for that, but don't feel like you got to stick to what the tried and true in order to keep yourself going and motivate you for what's to come next. That innovation is saying, you have the tools. I'm sorry, hold that up. You have the tools and the wherewithal, and you have the smarts, you have the confidence, you have the vision to be able to improve on what you've done, or maybe even just take a turn and do it in a different way to bring you more satisfaction, so that the impact that you're having is also on yourself. That's really the more of an impact that the things that you do in the world, you can feel it within yourself, then it boosts your confidence, and it has a ripple effect on those that you seek to help. All right. That was really powerful, pile number one. Please let me know what you thought about that, how that struck you, in my comments and feedback. All right, I'm going to move on now. Pile number two, those of you who chose this selenite, take a quick sip of water. All right, so pile number two, the impact that you have had, that you may be aware of, the impact that you are currently having, and then going into your future, going into 2023, and what Spirit wants you to know. Pile number two. Oh, and this is so in alignment with this selenite energy. Wow. Thank you, Spirit. Again, as I said, I pray over these. I close my eyes. I specifically asked for the cards relative to that energy, that selenite. So, but I don't see it until I show it to you. Pile number 2. The impact that you have had up until now has been all about creating something new, new beginnings. And it could very well be that this came out of a place of, you could have had a lot of disruption in your life. You could have had a lot of situations where you had to pick up and start again, whether this was, changing jobs. Sometimes, especially in modern society, we change whole careers. We go in whole different directions throughout the course of our working lifetimes, right? So for you all, this could be, of course, divorce or breakups. This could be all manner of situations where you have had to, the impact that you have had is showing yourself and thereby showing others how what it takes when you've had a certain set of circumstances that then you had to figure it out. How do I go forward from here? How do I show, not just talk about it, but you have had to actually do it. Pile number 2. What is amazing, you have 2 major arcana. Here we are with this oracle, new beginnings, the impact that you have had in your life up until now, sort of a historical impact that you've had, right? New beginnings. And that doesn't come easy. But you also, there's a level of optimism. I need to go back here for a moment. There's a level of optimism that you all share, pile number 2. Beautiful, because there's this flow. There's this life's flow that comes from you. You understand the flow of life. And then we have this beautiful sun. We've got the moon over there, sitting with it as well. We've got the transformation of the butterflies. Pile number 2, you have definitely had to overcome some things and figure out, okay, where do I go from here? Or where do we go from here? Where does my family go from here? Maybe the company you worked for went through a reorganization, or maybe it shut its doors. Maybe you got, some of you who chose this pile were really impacted financially, or in terms of your job situations and your families with COVID, with the pandemic, where you had to do things in a totally different way. But here's the deal, you all, like I'm giving you props. Your guides are giving you props, because what you did, you have the Empress and Justice. I want to show those together to you. The Empress and Justice. We looked at all this flowing energy. The Empress is about creating and growth and the fertility of understanding how to produce. She has that Midas touch. She's able to, this is an energy, and when I say she, it's not gender specific, it is an energy I'm talking about, a major arcana energy, where the sense of abundance, that's that new beginnings. The impact that you've had is showing people that no matter what happens, there's more to come. And it looks like with this beautiful card that you've done it with grace, that you've done it, not by muscling through and pounding on doors and beating your chest, but that you've done it by deciding to do it. And by believing and trusting in the abundance of the universe, and believing and trusting in your abilities and in your ability to impact. And with justice, there is, remember, justice is ruled by Libra, which is ruled by Venus. A very, very loving, giving, thinking about others, thinking about how equanimity, thinking about how, okay, if things have gone in this direction, but I still have this to go, that I can use. It's keeping a system of checks and balances in place so that you could continue to have an impact. Especially, I'm feeling like for those of you who chose this selenite in pile number 2, this especially relates to your prosperity and your physical existence, all right? The impact that you've had in terms of keeping things afloat and managing to have material comforts no matter what came your way. This even makes me feel like if any of you ever experienced any type of lack in your financial situation, in And if you've gone through some of those changes and been impacted, so you had to start from scratch, but you took whatever you had and made the most of it. If you couldn't have, if you're a meat eater, if you couldn't have a porterhouse steak, then you were okay with the hamburger. You just added a little more seasoning to it and put a little extra cheese on it, and did you see what I mean? Like you didn't sit back and pout about, well, if I can't have the best of the best, if I can't have everything I always thought, then I'm just going to shut down and be a miserable person. No, pile number two, you said, no, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to go in search of that. You kept your equanimity. You did what it took to keep those around you happy and to keep striving for success. And that is the impact that you have had. Really, really beautiful. And your guides, I'm actually feeling a little emotional here in my heart. Your guides want you to know, your ancestors want you to know, those who look over you and watch out for you and have for a very long time, they want you to know, pile number two, that what you have done has not gone unnoticed, and that it has not only been practical, it has not only served a purpose and had an impact, but that it is beautiful. They see it as beautiful, and hoping that you too can see it as beautiful. At the present time, we have the collective field is impacting you. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go. Talking about impact here. The collective field is impacting you. Unseen forces in action. You all, I did not see this. I did not look down and read this as I was just talking about the feeling from your guides. I hope you're receiving this, because I sure am. I didn't see this until as I felt that and said, closing out that first section and then picked this up. I did not know that's what this was going to say. Wow. All right, let's go. The collective field is impacting you. Unseen forces in action. So at the present time, the impact is not only that they want you to know that it's not just the impact that you are having, but it is the impact. They want you to be aware of the impact of the energy around you that it has on you and on what you are able to experience in your life at this time. Don't just think about what is incumbent on you to do, but they really are serving you a reminder that the impact, there's a field of energy around you. How gorgeous is that? There's a whole field of energy around you, pile number two, that is having an impact on you. We have the moon here, divine feminine energy, illusions, secrets, sometimes insecurity. So I wonder too, if because pile number two, you have been in these situations where you had to start from scratch. There were these new beginnings that you have understood. There's been this tendency that you had to not show all of your feelings, not show the worry that you may have been experiencing. But at the same time, you were able to understand that there was something around you greater than you, looking out for you. It was your faith. You relied on your faith to have that impact on your circumstances, to build again, so that you could have that Empress energy, so that you could continue to have more. But it did impact you a lot. You had to become very thoughtful about what you were doing. And I'm interested in, I'm looking at these keywords, this deception and this insecurity, which are attributes of the moon in the major arcana in tarot. It can apply, but often it's like it didn't come out of nowhere. If you were feeling that way, if there's this part of you, this divine feminine part of you that has held things in, and as you were going through, as you were rebuilding and coping with things, the way that you did it was to understand just how much was available to you. And it was not easy, because your third card in the present in terms of how you are, what Spirit wants you to recognize that they have your back is because if you are experiencing at the current time a lull in your energy, perhaps you are experiencing at the current time a lull in your ability to manifest. Maybe you're not feeling particularly abundant at the present time, or those who are around you, what you're witnessing and being impacted by is not feeling very empress juicy. I can have everything that I want. I get that. But check it out. She comes with one of her keywords. I want to point that C word down there with my finger. Divine feminine. She comes with very divine feminine moon sort of energy. Okay? The moon is that divine feminine receptive, what you have been on the receiving end of, what life has, the cards that you've been dealt, both good and bad. There's been abundance and prosperity, but it looks to me like there's also been some loss, and there's been this, perhaps that's even why we got that justice with the scales, where things have gone up and then they've gone down and then they've gone up and back down. And so part of what you've had to do is learn how to adapt, and no matter what was happening, have that moment of clarity and that desire to keep going. But at the present time, that impact, they want you to know, if you are experiencing a lull, if you are going through a particular time right now where you're not feeling like, okay, I'm manifesting, I'm getting it done, you may not be feeling particularly beautiful. I feel like for some of you as well, this could be a personal perception that you're having of yourselves, where perhaps, if you are maturing in your mature years, or you're thinking, you maybe, feel like you're approaching midlife, but you're going through some sort of thing where you're doubting your ability. How much more can I do? How much more can I give? Do I still have the juice? Can I still make it happen? There could be some doubt creeping in there. And so at the present time, what your guides, pile number 2, are saying is, remember, we've got you. There's an impact, there's an energetic field around you that then can become a part of what you see in your day-to-day reality. So reach out to that, connect with that, take time to do that. There's a dreamy quality to this. I want to hold that up a little more. There's a dreamy quality to this, pile number 2. And in the present time, the impact that the energy around you is having on you can lead you to having new doors opened. If you're in that lull right now, you're not feeling particularly creative, or again, your abundance, your ability, because of that moon energy, your ability to really see or acknowledge for yourselves, to get clarity around what your next steps need to be, then what they're saying is it's going to come from around you. Look and get your tentacles up, get your spiritual tentacles up, so that you can feel it and receive it. All right. I totally understand why you were drawn to the selenite as well. You would do well, pile number 2, to do a little, if you're not familiar with selenite, do a little study on that stone and see how it pings you. Okay. Going into the future and the impact that Spirit wants you to be aware of going into preparing yourself for 2023. We have your oracle is nurture yourself first. That has a lot to do, I think, with that impact from around you, the field, the energetic field around you. Because if you nurture yourself first, if you build yourself first, if you allow yourself to receive the energy that clearly is there for you, okay? So build yourself up and allow yourself to be nurtured. Don't hesitate to ask for it. If you've been a person who has typically historically been able to produce a lot, those new beginnings, you've been able to dust yourself off, and maybe you're at a point in life where it's becoming a little harder to do that. Spirit understands that and is saying, okay, got it. So now rely on us a little more. Ask for it. Ask for the nurturing. And it not only comes up in terms of the energy field, but then the universe will send it in your physical life. Maybe somebody will show up and give you a gift, an idea, inspire you in some way, that those scales, going back to that justice card, those scales begin to even up and balance out a little more for you. You've got, this is confirmed, you all, you got the Hangman here, ruled by Neptune. So there's Neptune is very much about, taking that pause to discover yourself, to see what it is about you. I noticed my eyes just went, even though I'm reading it backwards on the camera, but self-improvement. How does that tie into nurturing yourself? It's not about you're not good enough, so you have to improve. That's not what Spirit is saying here. It's about how do you feel better? Because for you, especially pile number 2, and again, I get why you chose this selenite as a purifying stone. It is a clarifying stone. It is a stone that can remove any sense of being stagnant, right? It removes stagnant energy. So for you, pile number 2, there's recognizing that right now, okay, fine. You may be in a time of feeling like you're in suspense, or being suspended, that things are stuck, that they're not moving along, that perhaps historically the impact that you've been able to have to start over new beginnings is a little more difficult. And there's, again, you've got balance, 2 of Pentacles, balancing. What is it that you need to do at this point in your life, the impact around you, to be able to, adaptability, flexibility, financial stress, profit, and loss. How fitting is that for the scales that we saw? New beginnings, you having to be the type of person, pile number 2, who's had to adapt. And perhaps at this particular time, you have had to adapt more than you had in the past, or being able to do it has become a little more difficult for you. And so going into the future, what Spirit is saying is, cut yourself some slack and understand that there's some new way that you're going to go about that Empress energy that perhaps you had not considered up until now. That 2023, in nurturing yourself first, that 2023 is going to redirect some of that energy back to you. It's almost like I see you, I keep going, but I love this image here. I see you kind of standing in a force field, and just like letting energy be beamed into you, letting it feed you, letting yourself be nurtured, letting your soul, your mind, your body be nurtured. So that's your regrouping. That's how your scales begin to move again and get back, so they're in balance, so that what comes in, because your last key card, I get it, your last key card, Oracle, as you prepare to go into 2023, is loss. And I don't think that's predicting loss, that you're headed toward loss, because we have Saturn in Pisces. It's the dreams. And that ties, thank you, Spirit, that ties to the moon. So let me be clear. If you chose pile number 2, you have experienced some of the highest highs and some of the lowest lows. And you've had to learn how to adapt in any situation that you've been in and find your equilibrium. Start over if you had to. Make the most of what you had, being flexible. And so now what Spirit is saying is, it's not about, don't carry that energy into 2023. See it for what it is, that moon that we saw. So if you've been hiding the truth from yourself, or if you feel like others have been hiding the truth from you, all right, and you've been impacted by that this is a chance. 2023 is giving you an opportunity to re-examine that. That's what this is about. It is about re-examining what's most important to you, what you need, and to recognize as well, excuse me, need water. To recognize as well that what felt like a loss, or perhaps in a very real way is a loss, that it serves the cycle of life. That the message for you in going and preparing yourself, the impact that you will have on 2023, but also the impact that 2023 will have on you in a very deep personal soul level is your importance, and the idea that energy for you is a very, very real thing, and you've got to shift your vibration out of the stagnancy, selenite, out of the stagnancy, and getting that cleansing, that clarity, so that you can go forward, because there's something that perhaps over a period of time has built up. There's been a little gunk that's built up. It could be emotional gunk, it could be psychic, you know how you tend to think things through, but there's some gunk that's built up. And what Spirit is saying is you don't have to carry all of that. That by becoming more flexible and adaptable, by learning how to receive the nurturing that you deserve energetically, and your guides are out there ready to help you do it, it can restore your dreams. Because that Saturn in Pisces, that sense of loss, could very well be that when you had to start over, you did it. You did what had to be done from a practical standpoint, but it still left some lingering stuff, gunk, in your psyche and in your heart space, in your emotional center. And so the idea is take that time necessary to examine what that is, not to rehash it, but to get some objectivity. To just, when the hangman is able to give that objective view, because it steps away. It's a chance to step away from everything and reassess and reconfigure. Okay, if I've always been able to start over those new beginnings, but this time I'm going to do it a different way. And I may need some help to do it. I may need some time just for me to replenish myself in order for me to do it. All right? Okay, pile number 2. It's all good. And I can see the difficulty there. It's not tickle your funny bones time, or maybe it hasn't been. Maybe this last year or last couple of years has been a little challenging for you, but there is an opportunity for you to release that. All right? All right, I'm going to go on to pile number 3 now. And that you have that turquoise howlite. All right? All right. So we're going to look at the past, the present, and the future impact. 2020 going into 2023. All right, pile number 3. So historically, the impact that you've had. Wow, you are movers and shakers. We have as your leader card, historic talent. All right. So pile number 3, you chose this turquoise howlite. You clearly have a lot to offer the world, and you've shown up in the world. You could be someone also who cultivates talent. You could be someone who inspires others, who teaches others in their creative pursuits. And talent is talent. Talent could be an IT person, technical software engineer, as well as the arts, writing, dancing, and even the spiritual arts. All right, but talent. That is the impact that you have had, is in helping others, and also you, really manifesting your talent. The world, wow. The world and the 7 of Wands came around talent as your tarot. So you know what? Wow, pile number 3. I think you've traveled, or you have had exposure to people. From a vast array of people. They could have been very artsy, creative types of people. And so that's been your circle and this impact. So you've had a lot of social connection, pile number 3, and a community. A 7 of Wands is, there could have been some, you're the person who has had to stand up for what you believe in. And again, that makes me feel like with this talent, the impact that you've had is you've been someone, if there have been doubters, if there have been people who perhaps didn't understand their own value in the world, you've been that champion. You're that person who has stood up and said, we're not going to go that way. I want you to, focus on what you really have to offer. This could also be, this has been your journey to discover your own talent. Despite any setbacks, despite any naysayers, despite any sort of, someone coming back to try and get in your way and block your progress, and you just simply have not done it. If they came at you, you went back harder in terms of your place in the world and claiming your talent, wanting to express who you truly are and what it is that you came to this world to do, what your purpose is. Pile number 3, you definitely have a heightened sense of your place in the world and your purpose in the world and what it is that you came here to do, the impact that you came here, the footprint that you came here to make in the world. You have a very heightened sense of that. And again, it feels to me like whatever, you have always been willing to stand up for that, or something taught you, maybe this exposure that you had to other people taught you how to stand up for yourself and claim your talents, claim your gifts, claim your voice in the world, to hone in more on what it is that you're here to do, what you enjoy doing. Because talent is also about, understanding, this is what I love to do. This is my talent. I am here. I have a unique purpose in the world. And I love that in this particular deck with the keywords on the tarot, it says, one of the infinite possibilities, right? Freedom, right? Completion. So there's this, you have definitely, the impact that you've had is in being true and not budging on who you are ultimately and your purpose in this lifetime. That is what Spirit is acknowledging for you, pile number 3, in that turquoise highlight. Wow, that's powerful. Good for you. It's not easy to do, and it shows that it's not easy to do because you got that 7 of Wands. And 7 of Wands is, they call it the stand your ground card. It is where you nobody just paved the road, and sprinkled roses in your path as you went about, developing yourself and growing yourself and discovering who you are in this world. You didn't get a free pass on all of that, but it didn't matter, because you somehow, someway, you got the support, the encouragement, the motivation, and the vision for who you really are. And that is how you have shown up in the world. That's the impact that you've had. Now, at the present time, we have different decks. Did not see these cards before this reading. Present time, we got, you cannot make a mistake. There are infinite possibilities available to you. What did we just see in that world card? I don't have to sit here and make anything up. All I have to do is be a vessel, show up, and be committed and be willing. And that's my talent. That's what I enjoy doing, because spirit comes forth. Truly. Infinite possibilities for you all. Pile number 3 with that turquoise highlight. You cannot make a mistake. There are infinite possibilities available to you. Now, what's interesting, I think the reason that Spirit is giving you that reminder at the current time around the impact that you're having is because you also got 2 kind of introspective cards here, the tarot that came with it, and that is the Hermit and the 8 of Swords. Now, this is a really cool, actually, depiction of the 8 of Swords, because sometimes they make it just look totally stressed out where you can't really see the truth. But she's got those roses, around her eyes. So there's this notion that at the present time, Spirit is saying you may have lost a little perspective on your own specialness, on your own gifts and talents and what you are here in this world to accomplish. That perhaps there's something going on at the present time where you're feeling a little more anxious about that. Maybe you've had to shift the way that you've done it. Maybe opportunities that typically have come your way, they seem to be, you may be going through a little bit of a shift in what it is that you even want to do. Because the Hermit is very much that card of seeking something more. I love this depiction as well. Going toward something more. So I think for you all with this pile number 3, yes, you know who you are. There's no lack of understanding yourself. There's no you're not afraid to tackle the difficult things. You're not afraid to, the act of becoming, the act of personal growth, the act of showing up for yourself and thereby showing up in the world. That's not a problem for you. But for some reason, the possibilities, you need to be reminded at the present time of those infinite possibilities, because it came twice in black and white, right? In the words themselves, it came twice from Spirit. There's a reminder perhaps that you need at this current time, because the journey that you're on right now, searching for more, searching for light, you may feel like you're going through a period of time where you're having to do more on your own. And I do think you are definitely social people who chose this pile number 3. You're definitely social people. You thrive in the company of others. You thrive among like-minded people, and your tribe is your vibe, right? You may be going through a period of time right now where you're having to do more of it just yourself and from within. But what Spirit is saying is, don't trip out on that. Don't let that dim your light or dim your drive or redirect your motivation. Don't feel like you're on a detour when you're having a hermit experience. It's not that you're being detoured from your purpose, from your next level, your next thing, your next your next door opening. It's really just saying there's a period of time that you got to reconnect with you. Because I like, again, notice that it says they're helpless or self-imposed prison, which is very indicative of an 8 of Swords energy, where there's things that happen around us and then we internalize it. Maybe the opportunities are not coming as much, or you're not having as many creative ideas. Maybe just from a strictly energetic perspective, you're not feeling it, like you want to bounce around and show up in the world the way that you have in past years or throughout your life. Maybe you're having to dig a little deeper just from an energetic standpoint to keep it going, and that's okay. Spirit is saying that's all a part of the process. That for whatever reason, you're going through this right now and going in search of that next thing, and maybe feeling a little helpless in a way that maybe isn't always typical of you, because you need to be reminded of the infinite possibilities, right? Look at that. Just arms open, doors and windows everywhere, infinite possibilities, just doors and windows and light up top, just arms open to it all. So look at the contrast. I want to hold that contrast up for you, because then it's about, take that mask off, take that light off, grab those flowers, keep those, take the hand, take the sense of, oh gosh, what do I do next? Take that and just go from there to there and be reminded. And the way you get from there to there is this. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this hermit experience. That you can see the light. That there's light up ahead. That there is more for you up ahead. And it's just a matter of continuing to walk toward it. That's what Spirit wants you to know at the current time, in terms of the impact that you are having and that Spirit is having on you. Okay, now going toward that light. Let's keep infinite possibilities. Clearly is a key term for you all who chose pile number 3. Let's see how that operates going into 2023, and what Spirit wants you to be mindful of the impact going into 2023. Wow. This is so beautiful. Your leader card going in, and the impact for you in the future going into 2023 especially. Express your joy. Kind of takes you full circle, doesn't it? Because we started out looking at you with this raw talent, or fostering the talent of others if you're a teacher, right? Look at how full circle. 2023 is going to be a full circle moment for you all. There's something that's going to come back around. Watch what I say. We have your tarot around this express your joy. Comes in very material ways. We have a 5 of Pentacles, which can look at examining the wallet, like how much do I have? Do I have enough? In the context of, it's not just money, even though, you know, there's that monetary reference there with the wallet, but we got to remember the Pentacles in general is about our physical being, is about what is in our material world. It is also about our health, our physical body. Our body is made, you know, we've got flesh and bone, right? So thinking about the fact that this 5 of Pentacles comes with the granddaddy of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. So here there's this sense of, I got it all. Look, dressed to the nines, got it all. Whatever I need is available to me. I am mature, grounded, faithful, wealthy. I got what I need. There is no empty wallet around me. Empty wallet, empty energy, deprived energy deprivation. There is anything in my material existence that I need. I got it all. And so your 2023 is again full circle. Whatever the something in your past that led you to believe in those infinite possibilities of what you could achieve, of what whomever you were in the business of inspiring and motivating others, your ability to help them hold fast to what they could achieve, all of these things are coming for you full circle in 2023. Pile number 3. And your last card, the cherry on the icing on the cake, or the cherry on the sundae, is resourcefulness. The sun in Cancer. I'm seeing that right? Yeah, the sun in Cancer, resourcefulness. Because there is something coming your way in 2023 that in terms of your ability to have an impact on the world, and the impact that things around you materially are having on you, is going to be a full circle moment. It's going to allow you to express your joy. Or they are also, Spirit is also saying here, the more that you can express a vibration of joy, the more this wallet fills up. The wallet being your love tank, your talent tank, your financial well-being, all of those things that show up and help us feel good in our material existence. And resourcefulness. You've learned a lot. The journey that you're taking takes me back to that Hermit card. The journey that you're taking right now is teaching you to be resourceful. Resourceful in terms of utilizing your ideas, utilizing your physical resources, right? Your connections, your networking circles. Have you backed away in recent times from people, or perhaps you feel like people have backed away from you, and so your tribe, your sense of being connected and a part of this larger creative dynamic whole, maybe that's been impacted. But Spirit is saying it's time to express your joy. Show up. Show up. Seek out those people who motivate you and whom you can motivate. Seek out those circles. Seek out those opportunities, because in doing that, something's going to shift. This is such a dynamic, from here to there kind of energy. Something's going to shift for you, and it's going to be a full circle moment for you all in 2023. Pile number 3. Let me know. Mark my words. Not my Spirit's words. I mean, it showed up here for you in very strong ways, undeniable. So stick with it. And I think that's it. Let me know what you think. I'll post the timestamps for the 3. You may feel drawn more than one. Also, I'm going to make an announcement really quick here on the end, and I'll do again in a separate video. I'm feeling pulled to do pop culture readings. I'm a big reality TV fan and sports fan, and I also do politics and all of these things, pop culture, popular culture. But I know that I use this channel more for spiritual growth, guidance, insight, motivating us from that deeper life purpose sort of thing. So I can't mix those up too much, but I think be prepared. You might see a different, a sub channel or a second channel from Touch by Tarot being launched here really soon. So let me know what you think about that as well. I'll talk to you soon.